Mark Carney and everyone else, all the other liberals, including the Minister of Public Safety, Anandasangaree, have been saying that this program is voluntary. And I remember, if you remember, there's a guy named Ryan Jespersen, got kind of a YouTube show, used to be on the radio. I don't know if he still is, but he had Mark Carney, the prime minister, on there. And of course, it was ultra softball. You're not going to get Carney on there if you're going to ask him real questions, obviously, but nonetheless, good on him for getting the Prime Minister of Canada on there. But he said that this program was voluntary. Well, he said a couple things. He said it was voluntary, and these are not like, firearms for hunting or sporting use. These are assault weapons, and they're serious weapons. So, of course, if I were to take issue with that, I mean, it's ridiculous. They are all hunting firearms and sport shooting firearms. That's all they are, because they were approved by the RCMP and the government for decades upon decades in Canada. And that's all they were used for, those two purposes. They are exactly what you would use for hunting or sport shooting. And they are not assault weapons, because assault weapons were banned in Canada since 1977. And all of these guns had FRTs and were listed as such, hunting and sport shooting. So whatever, man. Just more gaslighting. And I guess the 22s and the double barrel rifles that are 100 years old, and the single shot rifles in there, those are all assault weapons too, right? Serious weapons. So he says this is voluntary. And then Anandasangaree has come out and said, oh, this is voluntary too. Well, it's weird. He actually had an argument about this definition of voluntary with the guy on the hot mic, right? Which I'll tell you about in a second. But you can volunteer to turn your firearms in for destruction for no compensation, race with other gun owners to get compensation, deactivate it at your cost, or maybe you'll get that covered if you're in soon enough, or export it or go to jail. That's what you can volunteer for. So if they had given us a grandfathering option, then you could call that voluntary, because you could have kept it and still used it. And passed it down if your kids had the proper license. But they didn't take that. So to call it voluntary and then claim that anyone that says that it's not is misleading you, crazy. I guess that's just what you'd always expect. So anyway, here's a clip of first Carney saying it's voluntary, and then Anandasangaree saying it's voluntary, and then here I left this part in. He goes on, this was in the press conference for the buyback. He goes on to say, oh, by the way, there's 19,000 models still available for you to use for hunting or sport shooting. It's funny, the RCMP are coming up with lists of hundreds of guns now. Well, first they do, thousands of guns that are prohibited, right? They ban them. Then the RCMP bans a whole bunch more. There's still it's still 19,000 left all the way through all these bans. I don't know how their math works, but it's ridiculous, right? But just pure propaganda. I thought that was supposed to slow down under Carney, but I guess it doesn't.
What do you intend to do on the firearms file specifically? And what do you make of Premier Smith's position?
I'm not going to, the exact quote, maybe I'll leave the quote to the side, but I'll pick up one word there, confiscation. This is not about confiscation. This is about voluntary return of firearms for compensation of these firearms. We're not confiscating guns. People aren't going around confiscating guns. That is anyone who says that is a mischaracterization. What it is an opportunity for Canadians to return guns for compensation. And let's be clear, we are not talking about hunting rifles. We're not talking or sport shooting or anything like that. We're talking about assault rifles. We are talking about weapons of, serious weapons, let's put it that way.
This program is voluntary. Nobody is having their weapon confiscated. People who use rifles to hunt can still hunt. If you want to purchase a hunting rifle, there are 19,000 legal options available in the Canadian market.
If you're not subscribed, please do that. The notification bell is great. Yeah, if you want to be notified when we do a new video, great. If you don't, that's okay too. But if you can subscribe, that would be awesome. I'd really like to see us get to 100,000 subscribers, which would be good. Okay, that's it. Thanks everyone. Take care, and we will see you soon.